Live Wednesday night. Welcome, everybody. It is Semper Fi, my friend, live. Wednesday night in action. Exciting couple days since Sunday. Goes by quick. From Sunday to Wednesday goes by pretty fast. From Wednesday to Sunday, obviously, we have one more day.
That's crazy.
Not as quick, mathematically, sure. But it just seems Wednesday's really quick.
Can someone come help the iPad?
Helps Monday and Tuesday go by really fast, if that's what you like. Already at hump day. So welcome everybody to the channel. We had a great conversation in the members chat. Again, remember we pre-flight with the members right before we go Gen Pop. That's general population. Who said they just figured that out? Good to see y'all. Welcome. 15 days till Christmas, right? Are you ready? Have you done all your shopping on Amazon? Does anyone go to the malls anymore? Yeah.
Ball City's here. Gunny East is here.
Ball City's here. Gunny East is here. And we're up. CC number 5, come here. Come on. Almost got her. Good evening from Fort McCoy. What's up, WW? Get it. Gunny East. Lay Cookie's back. Doc Holiday's back. Good to see y'all. Welcome back, everybody. Those are all the members we were just chilling with a few minutes ago. A few short minutes. Production team is put on notice, officially put on notice right now. David Bryant's here. Randall Knapp, present. All present accounted for. How about those formations? Here's a quiz right now. We're gonna quiz everybody. When you receive the report, what's the proper way to report your unit? If they're not all there. If everyone's there, easy. All present. You could even add in all present, people say and or accounted for, or all present and accounted for. Or all present or accounted for. When you say that or accounted for, that means somebody's not there. So obviously you want everybody there. It's an easy one. All present. Solid. But what if somebody is not there? What do you say? Present and accounted for, says Anonymous. Even when they're all there? Because if they're present, you're accounting for them by saluting. And I'm going to go one step further. You're not required to say anything. The return salute. The returner is not required to say anything. Very well. Very well. Got it. Nothing. The salute is verification that I've received your report. But who says all present and or accounted for? One or the other. You don't say and or. All right. Stoner Bob's here. Good evening. Present and accounted for. Oh, I just said that. WW. So we did a 100K road march with a 150-pound ruck over 3 days. 100 kilometers is how many miles? 80? Something like that. 80 miles. 100 kilometers road march, 150-pound rucks over 3 days. 150-pound ruck is heavy. Your typical ruck is probably about 60, 70 pounds, right? 80, depending on if you're an A gunner or something, but a 150-pound ruck, that's brutal. And what rucksack did you use? Because that huge difference. The new Ilbies, I think, are pretty good. The long ones, they're long, but they have the backside. I think those are good. And if you buckle the waist plate, that helps also. It takes some pull off of your shoulder. So it depends on what pack you use too. And if you packed it right? If the weight is all on the bottom, you're going to be hurting because it's just pulling on your shoulders. But good on you. How do you feel? Did you lose any toenails? Blisters? Hot spots? I know you got them. Anonymous, there you go. AWOL, missing one. One Marine absent, one Marine missing, one Marine absent without leave. You got to report it. And that's all you say. First platoon, one Marine missing. Right? You don't say all present accounted for except one Marine missing. Straight and to the point. All the other mumbo jumbo people say back and forth, unnecessary. All present or accounted for. One Marine missing, 2 Marines missing. All right. Alvaro Salazar, Semper Fi. Emperor, Hi from Odessa. Wow. Nothing much, Doc. Wife shopping at Target. Christmas time. Odessa. Odessa. It's these lights. It's just an excuse. These are two different color lights. You know that, right? Slava, Ukraine. Thanks, Stoner Bob. Alice from Pittsburgh. We're doing great here. Good to see everybody. All present except Lance Corporal or that, Randall Knapp, and that's on who you're reporting to. All present except for Lance Corporal Schmuckatelli, who is accounted for, or all present accounted for except SB. So, per the drill and ceremonies manual, 1 Marine missing. And that's the report you get after. But let me tell you this, don't surprise your sergeant major with giving a report like that. 1 Marine missing. Why is this the first thing? It better not be the first time you're telling whoever's receiving that report that someone's missing. Because the reaction is going to be, who? Where is he? You out of damn mind. Get up here. Tell me. So, but make it legit. Make it clear. And whatever you do, don't cover for nobody. Right? Oh, he's in the head. No, unless you know where he is, don't cover for nobody. Don't be that one. I had a sergeant major tell me one time, don't be the one holding a bag of doo-doo. Don't be holding that bag. You got a Marine missing, tell everybody. Because what if that Marine did get in that accident? What if something seriously happened to him and you reported him accounted for? Lance Corporal Rother story. Remember that? 29 Palms, Lance Corporal Rother on a CAX. He got left behind. 3 days later, they found his bones. Don't falsify no reports. All right. David Bryant, can you comment so Doc Holliday can check? David and Doc, check each other's. We're having a problem. Anyone on here know David Bryant cannot see Doc Holliday's comments and vice versa. They cannot see each other's comments. How weird is that? WW, 1 week to go at Fort McCoy, so I'm then back to the Guard unit. All right. Carl Green is here. What's up, Carl? Good to see you. Hammer. We haven't changed his icon yet. Carl Green, how we doing? We're 10 minutes in already. Zombie blood. Sir, did you injure your left eye? Maybe while I was sleeping. The producer may have punched me in my face while I was sleeping. Remember, double blink means I need help. Actually, platoon sergeant will pay if somebody's truly missing. Facts. That's why. You don't miss anybody. Did they block each other on accident? Says Anonymous. How do they check that, Anonymous one? Can you block just one person on your account? And it could be inadvertently, obviously. But how do you check that? Banani DeVito says, double tap, everyone. Right? Another one. Utley. What's up, Utley? Did y'all block each other on accident? Carl Green can see Doc's comments. Want to believe we all can. Randall Knapp sees them both. One of them is blocked by the other, says Stoner Bob. All right, while we try to figure that out, Fred Red, great question. What factors do you think made the biggest difference for an enlisted Marine to be accepted to warrant officer? What a great question. What do you think they look at when they're selecting warrant officers? I was never on one of those boards, so I'm going to tell you who of the warrant officers that I have seen get selected, the warrant officers that I've worked with, what I think they got selected for. But first, you obviously got to be qualified. And help me out, any warrant officers here right now, you have to have a degree for starters. You have to be enlisted. Sergeant is when you can start applying for it. Once you reach sergeant, you put in for the warrant officer program. What factors do I think they look into for selection to warrant officer? I want to say a lot of MOS credibility. So if you're again, we talked about this before, say you're a combat engineer, you want to be a warrant officer in the combat engineer community. There is no combat engineer warrant officer, so they go to drafting and surveying, DNS. So to be a DNS warrant officer, MOS credibility, meaning you got to have a lot of knowledge of your MOS, because now you're going to be a duty expert in that field for the rest of your career, right? Just like the Master Sergeant and the Master Gunnery Sergeant. To be selected to one of those ranks, to both of those ranks, you have to have MOS credibility. You got to know what you're talking about in that MOS. Leadership, 100% of the time for anybody going for any position. So that's a given. That's what you're going to be graded on first. But Master Sergeant, Master Gunnery Sergeant, and Warrant Officer, Chief Warrant Officer, MOS credibility, which leads me into the other part of the 8999s, the First Sergeant and the Sergeant Major. MOS credibility is not that critical at that stage because you're leaving your MOS. As an 8999, that's whatever your MOS was. It doesn't matter how many MOSs you had. If you're going from Gunnery Sergeant to First Sergeant, those prior MOSs really don't mean anything. They don't go into play when they're thinking about selecting you for First Sergeant, 8999. That was kind of my dilemma when I got sent to the Engineer Chiefs course, right? I went to Engineer Basic School, obviously right out of boot camp, Engineer NCO School, which was cool, learned a lot, back to Courthouse Bay. And then they sent me a third time to the Engineer Chiefs course. That's for staff sergeants or just gunnies? I think it's just gunnies. And I was to learn the bigger picture engineer community, plans, drafting and survey, the logistical side of engineering. Very, very interesting. I mean, we had to make flow charts and building diagrams on how to build a chow hall. It was intense, hard. But I was worried about going to that school because I thought that school would give me more MOS credibility, which it did. I didn't want them to waver back and forth. Well, he went to Chief's course. Should he be a Master Sergeant? Because I had been putting an F on my fitness report. Even as a sergeant, I was putting F. That's when I knew I wanted to go that route and not the Master Sergeant route. So the roundabout way to say what I think they look for primarily in warrant officers, again, the maturity, the leadership, all the things that are probably requirements, but what's going to set you over is awesome MOS credibility. I think that really weighs a big part. All right, producer says, Carl Green, they can't see each other, so they can't use that option. I think it's got to be with their individual settings. Back to David Bryant and Doc, they cannot see each other. 8999 need knuckleheads handling skills. I'm telling you, Lake Cookie has had a lot of interactions with the 8999s. And yes, it is knucklehead handling skills. I like that. I'm going to coin that phrase. You want to be a first sergeant? You ready to handle some knuckleheads? That's good. High first class PFT. Again, I'm telling you, like a cream of the crop. Here's the other way to look at warrant officers and green to gold when enlisted Marines go to the officer community. If they pick the best of the best sergeants to become warrant officers, now you're taking all the best of the sergeants out of the enlisted ranks. So if you ever get passed over for a warrant officer, don't take it personal, right? Maybe at that time they were looking for something a little different in your record book that they wanted to keep you in the enlisted community, right? So when they say, you're an awesome Marine, you should become an officer. Well, no, the enlisted needs to maintain their awesome Marines also. Warrant officer position, you need to have 8 years active duty and be an E5. For gunner sergeant, you need to have, or for gunner, Marine gunner, you need to have 16 years active duty and be an E7 or higher rank in the infantry MOS. Gunner, we talk about gunners not often enough because gunners are some amazing Marine chief warrant officers. But you saw the criteria. I didn't even see who put that up there, but that's the criteria, right? You have to meet all those first and then get selected. The selection part is where it could get a little tricky. That's when they're going to check, just like a promotion board, they're going to check from day one. The day you stepped on the yellow footprints, they're going to compare record books, rifle, pistol, PFT, CFT, McMap, off-duty education, MCIs, letters of recommendation, all your awards, everything from day one, because it's a competitive selection. So, again, don't take it personal if you don't get selected the first round. Go for a second round. I knew a Marine did he tried 3 times and got it on the 3rd time. Right? He didn't do much different in between. And I don't know. Everyone has their own little personal story, but don't take it personal if that's what you want to do. And if you don't, 1% better every day. Keep moving forward where you are. All right. All right, we have a DEPer. In the delayed entry program, they assigned me cybersecurity because they said I wasn't hitting the marks for pull-ups. 10 for the job I wanted, combat engineer. Any advice I'm hoping that can fix this? You have to have 10 pull-ups? You have to be able to do 10 pull-ups to be a combat engineer? I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. You do a lot of heavy lifting, so that makes sense. Huh. That's weird. I didn't know pull-ups were part of criteria for certain MOSs. I think the overall PFT definitely is, but I didn't know specifically 10. So yeah, advice, hit the pull-up bar. The only way to get better at pull-ups is to do more pull-ups. If you can only do 3 right now, do 3, get off the bar, do some push-ups, crunches, do 3 more. Get an assist. Have somebody assist you from your lower back. Very important. Back in the day, I remember we used to bend your legs and you'd hold the Marine by his ankles and help him up. If somebody's holding your ankles, you're on a pull-up bar, your hands slip off, you're going to face dive. Fun to watch. Probably going to lose some teeth. You got to clean up the blood, but don't do it. Just push their lower back. And when you hold their legs, you're assisting them too much because now the Marine can push off on your hands. So just give them a little lower back, just a little lift up. All right. A little tip from the producer. For all y'all SFMFers, to get to the SFMF emoji, use the colon. I tried that again. It didn't work for me. Did it work for you? Colon. Use one of those words and then another colon. Oh, yeah. Colon before and after these words. Have you been able to? Can somebody please try that right now?
I did.
Oh. Colon. Spell the word salute and then another colon. Do you have to enter or space? Or does it just pop up? Carl Green, is that how you did it to get those icons to show up? Colon, EGA, colon? All right. Randall Knapp, we didn't have gunners proper when I was in. They were before and after. Question, since a gunner requires more, do they automatically start off as Warrant Officer 1, as a gunner? Thank you. I never met a gunner Warrant Officer 1, but they can be 2, 3s, or 4s. I don't know about Warrant Officer 1. That's a great question. Because they've been in longer. Do they still go Warrant Officer, gunner also? I don't know. That's a good question. And I just met a Navy chief. Anonymous says, stepdad was a Navy chief, so Marines wasn't as bad as growing up with the chief. Navy chiefs are pretty awesome rank as well. To become an LDO, you got to be a warrant officer for 8 years, and you can apply for the LDO, limited duty officer. Again, a duty expert. Randall Knapp just clicks the smiley button. And when I was replying today, I didn't have that option. The smiley didn't show up. Was that in the right account?
That's when you're in comments, so it's not when you're
Oh, that's right.
not gonna see the emojis in that.
Yeah, it doesn't work in the comments.
But if you do that,
When I reply to the comments, I don't have that option.
but if you use the shortcut, it will.
08 said, I wanted to read that, 08. Maybe I won't. Combat support, so combat engineers are combat support, so they require, the requirement is 10 pull-ups and 100 ammo cam lifts in 2 minutes. If I would fail, I would get reassigned open contract. Or should I just stick with cybersecurity? I don't think cybersecurity is a bad MOS. I really don't. But where today's world is going, today's technology, I think it's a great MOS if you qualify for it. I just didn't know that about combat engineers. It makes sense for those reasons.
See what WW was saying about
Oh, W-2. No, I see that now, yes. Gunners are directly promoted to Chief Warrant Officer 2.
Before that, he said something else too. He said to become LEO, you have to be a warrant officer for 8 years, then you can apply for LDO.
I read that
Oh,
aloud.
okay.
Yes, great information, all great information. Again, explaining to someone else today about the channel and what it does, what we do, and this is it, man. Just nothing but knowledge. And I like that. I didn't know that gunners are directly promoted to Chief Warrant Officer 2. I didn't know that, but it makes sense because I don't know if I've ever seen a gunner warrant officer. It's always a Chief Warrant Officer. 2's usually in a battalion. They get promoted to 3 while they're still at that battalion. Gunners are exclusively infantry, right? And those are the only ones you call gunner anymore. Randall talked about it earlier. We didn't have gunners when we first came in. In fact, Randy, do you remember we called all warrant officers gunner? We had an admin, a POG warrant officer in 3rd CEB, Gunner Price. He was a Chief Warrant Officer 3, Gunner Price. We called him Gunner Price. He was an engineer or a drafting and survey, but he ran the construction shop. Carl Green. That box is the same color as his icon. Can you remind me what the topics are tonight? Topics tonight. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Yes.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl. Keep me on track. Are you a boot? Right? And these are shorts. And I'm going to end up with a great leadership one at the end. I'm going to hit it this time because this one is so powerful. And has to do with passion. Passion versus ability. Not ability. I'll think of it in a minute. Are you a boot? What's the hardest part about DI duty? And then today's short was on the thought of issuing Marines their gear, their first fleet unit. You get all your gear. Just like you go to SIF, just like normal, go to SIF, get all your gear, go to the armory, get all your gear for your particular MOS, right? O1s aren't going to get the optics and lasers and all the stuff for their weapon, their K-bar. They're not going to get all that. Some of them don't even get issued an M16 or M4. Some units just don't. The air wing. I was in the air wing. Never got issued a rifle. Anytime we wanted to use them, we had to temp loan them. So per your MOS, you go to SIF, get all your gear, and keep that with you, even when you PCS. That's what we're going to talk about. That's topic number 3. The leadership is, man, I wrote it down today. Passion versus desire. Passion versus, let me write it again. It's on my phone, but I can't look at my phone. Which one? And I specifically put versus. Passion versus desire. Because we can desire to do well all we want. Yeah, I really want to do well. I have a desire to do well. But do you have the passion that you pour into it to do well? And that's what I've seen recently. That's what my last organization was missing the passion and desire. Right? That's easy. Yeah, I want to do well. I'm in this position. I'm a leader. I want to do well, but do you have the passion? All right. Yes, Carl Green. Thank you, brother.
So what are they?
More ways than one. Are you a boot? What's the hardest part about drill instructor duty? And the logistics of keeping your gear throughout your entire enlistment or career. And then the bonus is passion versus desire. Passion versus desire. All right. Anthony Reed. Are the Marines still wearing Marpet uniform? Yes, they are. Awesome uniform. Something we prototyped for a decade before we purchased it. Marines, we don't have a lot of money. So we made sure it was perfect before we purchased it. Ransom Feather, love it. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being someone worthy of serving. All right. Here we go. WW, never been in a fleet unit? Special Ops? Can you tell us what unit you've been to? Never Fleet Marine Force? never battalion, division, air wing. David Bryant, makes me wonder how much of that gear would wind up in a pawn shop that they had in their possession all the time. So that's the worry. The accountability piece is the worry on that one, on the 782 years is my notes. The missing gear statements. All right, Viking Champ, good to see you. All right, is it the same uniform as the late 80s? No, that's the Woodland uniform was in the 80s. Marpat came out in, when, 90, 96, 98? The Marine Pattern Uniform 2000? I don't even remember. When we got to Hawaii the first time, 94? 92. So late 80s, maybe if did they come out in late 80s? I'm not sure. All right. Doc Holliday. I'm going to read this one. We're going to chat with Doc, and I'm going on my first topic. I'm going to stay on track, Carl. All right. Bet. Doc Holliday. What's up, Doc? Appreciate you, brother. Passion drives motion. Desire shapes purpose. As a civilian honoring Marines, I lead by example. Steady, humble, and locked in. Your grit inspires me, and together we push forward with heart and discipline. Screenshot that, everyone. That's awesome. Passion drives motion. Desire shapes purpose. So ideally, Doc, we would hope that leaders have both. What about the ones that don't? Can you imagine that? And that's what we're going to touch on is you can have desires, shape the purpose. You can definitely shape the purpose of the unit, the mission, right, of whatever organization you're in. You can shape that, but if you don't have the passion to drive it, man, that's good, Doc. You need to be on this side of the camera, Doc. That is good. All right. 2001, I think so too, WW. I think that's when MARPATs were issued because I checked into my unit. I left one and got to I don't know. All right, 80s was Woodland. Randy, I learned from a ton from two chief warrant officers I worked with. They embodied the core, led from the front, recognized my abilities. Great officers, friends to this day. They're in their 70s now. Telling you, met some amazing, amazing chief warrant officers. Gunners. I need to get a gunner on here. One of our old gunners from either 5th Marines or 3rd Marines. Definitely need to get him on there. Doc, from the producer, this is one that needs to be in a book. That's awesome. Thank you, Doc. All right. You see that, Doc? All he needs is an invite. All right. So here we go. The first topic, are you a boot? And a couple of different reasons why that one came to mind. Met a Marine the other day, lives real close to us. I had seen her in Green on Green before. I didn't know if she was a Marine or not. And one morning I was leaving. We saw each other early in the morning. And I said, good morning. Like a retiree, a civilian. Hey, good morning. She said, URAH. I was like, oh. And then we got in our cars and left. So obviously it clicked to me. So she's a Marine. So come to find out she was. And she's been in like 2 years. I'm like, oh, you're just a boot. I didn't mean it in a derogatory manner. I hope she didn't take it that way. But that's just a fact. It just means you're new. If whoever you're a boot to, chances are they're older than you because they graduated high school before you did and they joined the Marine Corps before you did. So semantics can come later. And somebody put in the comments, he saw one general call another general boot, probably a 2-star, called a 1-star a boot. Because technically, the 1-star is boot to the 2-star. You just don't hear it in that context with officers of that high rank or grade. Funny though, you do hear it in the E9 community quite a bit, more than you would possibly know or think. It does happen, and it means something. Sergeants major are not too much different than senior lance corporals. That's how they get when they get up to that rank. Master guns too. Sergeant major and master guns in the same unit. And if the master gunnery sergeant is senior to the sergeant major, he will let the sergeant major know often by calling the sergeant major a boot. Not wrong, right? If the master gun's been in longer and he got promoted first to E9. Happened to me when I became a first sergeant. Not only was I a boot first sergeant, I was frocked. I wasn't even getting paid as a first sergeant yet. They frocked me, and those of you that don't know, when you get frocked to a rank, you wear the rank insignia, you go through the promotion ceremony, everybody's there, you take pictures, your family's there, you're not getting paid. They do that so they can move you to another position, to that first sergeant position. And you can do it every rank. Every single rank you can be frocked. People don't know that. Usually you see it in the first sergeant, sergeant major. You see it in the higher staff NCO ranks, positions when that happens. I was frocked to gunny as a staff sergeant to gunny because they wanted to move me to the advanced course at the Staff NCO Academy, which is a gunny billet. They didn't want a staff sergeant, gunnery sergeant select, teaching gunnery sergeants. So they frocked me. It's kind of cool, right? It feels great. You don't get paid for it, but nobody knows, right? They don't know who's frocked and who's not. You can pretty much guess a first sergeant just checking into a unit for his first unit as a first sergeant, probably frocked. What that means is you got selected for the rank of first sergeant, and if you're a young gunnery sergeant, your promotion date is going to be, could be up to 11 months later. You can be frocked for 11 months. They have that year to promote you. And due to the needs of the Corps, money, everything's involved in it, that's when your number comes up. You check the roster. Oh, shoot, my number came up. I'm getting promoted next month. Then you start getting paid. You had been a first sergeant all this time, acting in that position, but you were not getting paid for it. So it happens often. And I think for all the right reasons, right? They move you from, if you're a company gunner or you're a gunnery sergeant in a unit, you've been there 3 years, everyone knows you as Gunny Cece. All right, let me back up. I got selected for a sergeant major out of 2-5. I was a first sergeant, did 2 back-to-back deployments there. I was first sergeant CC. I got selected for a sergeant major. I wanted to stay in 5th Marines. I wanted to stay in 2-5 to be the battalion sergeant major. Everybody said no. My monitor was against it. My current sergeant, everyone was against it because everyone knew me as first sergeant CC. It's going to be a hard transition for me and for the Marines. I didn't see it at the time because I love 5th Marines. I want to stay there. But it's the smartest thing that the Marines do is move. When you get promoted, they move you, right? Going from Lance Corporal to Corporal is tough. They don't move you as much, but I wish they would have moved me when I went from Lance Corporal to Corporal. That was a hard transition too, because I was CC, boys with everybody, and next day I'm Corporal CC. All of a sudden, now you got to start calling me Corporal and listen to what I say because of what I'm wearing. It would have been better to go to a brand new unit, show up as Corporal CC. They would have never known. So it's good. It's a good system. But point is, yes, everyone's boot to someone. If you watched the short, if you didn't, please go back and watch it. Because unless you were at Ton Tavern, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on 10 November 1775, you're boot to somebody, right? We're all boot. Even the oldest, saltiest, crusty master guns is boot to somebody. I dare you to call him that. And you only could if you were senior to him. So it is. So some great comments in that one. After joining the Corps, I'm still boot. Always a boot to someone, stay frosty. I can't see who wrote that, but David Bryant, everyone's a boot. Viking chat, my wife calls me a boot. Some things never change.
Wait, you had a question from Just Drinking a Beer wants to know, have you ever worn a shirt under your blues that wasn't white? This is your amnesty period. So I can
Wow, great question. Who asked that?
drinking beer? Just drinking beer?
Just Drinking a Beer asked me if I've ever worn a T-shirt underneath my blue dress uniform other than a white T-shirt. You guys ready for this? In fact, let me, some of you answer that.
Can we take a poll?
Take a poll. Have I ever worn a T-shirt underneath my blue dress uniform other than the white issued T-shirt or the white authorized T-shirt to wear under your dress blues? Again, for those of you that don't know, that's part of the uniform. A white T-shirt must be worn under your blue dress uniform, a white T-shirt. Who's going to know? Who will ever know, except when you get drunk at the ball later and you're dancing, it gets hot, you undo the top, and then you're feeling bold and you want to show everybody how rebellious you are, and you open up your blues blouse and you see a Metallica shirt, an SFMF shirt, something underneath your dress blues, because no one will ever know unless they watched you get dressed or they're going to watch you undress for whatever reason. Have I ever worn something other than the white t-shirt underneath my blue dress uniform? Great question. Utley says no.
Hold on.
Old Gyrene, Sergeant Major, I'd say no. He, him, no. Who else? Who thinks they know whether I have worn? In the meantime, we'll answer Dung Eater. Do Marine DIs still curse and swear at recruits, or is that no longer seen as professional? Dung Eater. It's been in the SOP that Marines do not curse since before my time. I don't know how long it's in there, but DIs are not supposed to curse at the recruits, curse at all. Not even just at the recruits, but not cursing, period. Do they still do it today? I would say yes. Did I do it as a drill instructor? Yes, because they get on your nerves that time. Where you cross the line is when you call someone the B word or the F word, whatever, when you use it in a derogatory manner. Do Marines curse? Yes. I try not to, and I never curse in front of my kids, but I've cursed at Marines. I've cursed at recruits before. And it does sound unprofessional, right? Especially the ones that use it for every other word. It's every third word is a curse word. You lose the context of what you're even talking about. I'm going to vote. Can you see what I voted?
No. Emmy says we're going to my brother's family day tomorrow. Oh, I graduated Friday.
Let me remind me to talk about that too. Someone commented on something, said, "Oh my God, I just saw a senior drill instructor release his recruits for family day. It's 10 o'clock now. See you back at 1500. Does that really happen?" Yes, that's family day. It used to be DI dinner, and they spend a couple hours. Now it's a day before graduation. They get as a recruit.
Wednesday's family day.
It's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
Oh,
So today's family day.
today's family day. Oh, so Wednesday before graduation. And it used to be Monday used to be DI dinner night and family day, and then Friday was graduation. But they realized families can't stay the whole week. They don't want to fly for Monday and then come back on. So they moved. I thought it was Thursday. I thought Visitors Day was Thursday, then graduate on Friday. Either way, they put them closer together.
Tomorrow, family day is tomorrow.
So Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah. So a day before graduation. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I think it's good. As a DI, you're like, nah, it's a waste of time. But
Oh, they also sell tickets like Eventbrite or something for the DI dinner.
oh,
You can buy them online. The MCC.
DI dinner. I highly recommend going to that. Those are always good, talking to the parents.
Buy the tickets online.
But you can buy tickets online, Eventbrite.
Scott said so too.
All right, look at Couple Flagger. You're not a real Marine if you haven't worn an undershirt under your blue dress blouse at a ball. Definitely has. He's saying I definitely have. I missed some of the comments. Look at Stoner Bob. That's pretty cool. Boot camp, my drill instructors were Vietnam decorated professionals. They were way smarter than the need to swear at or around recruits. It depends on the individual. I did. I'd be the first to admit I did. There was times, certainly, I was that angry, pissed off, or just wanted some blood, or where curse words came out. I don't do it now. I don't do it in a professional setting. Do it around my boys, maybe, but I don't do it in front of my family. Dave Bryant did it in the brig all the time, talking about white t-shirt. Ooh, Doc Holiday, look at DI dinner gets sold out, so get your tickets early, parents. Those of you, I highly recommend going to DI dinner. It's great. But get your tickets early on Eventbrite. WW says, my drill sergeant in basic training, they sure were no any saints when speaking to us. Again, it happens. It's just when you abuse it. If you use it as every other word, when you do actually mean it, like hurry that F up, it's not going to mean anything because you say that for have a nice effing day, right? So if you got to use it like when you step on a Lego piece or something, it's acceptable. But don't do it. It does sound unprofessional. How many commandants or professional sportscasters or news anchors do they curse? It's unprofessional. All right. Jack Webb didn't curse in the DI, but that's the movies. R. Lee Ermey, did he curse? A little bit. All right. Dung Eater, what's a drill voice? I've heard multiple different Marines sound almost identical. It's the frog voice. I can't do it. I never was able to. I really never even tried. They do something with their voice that doesn't blow out their vocal cords, or their vocal cords are already blown out, so they can't sound off. I never did. I just powered through losing my voice. That's why I talk the way I do now. But I couldn't do that frog voice. What day is DI dinner?
I think the DI dinner is Wednesday, but I think the family day is Thursday.
DI dinner is Wednesday, family day Thursday. That would make sense if they're 2 different days. And then graduation's Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, done training.
Remember even for TAM, we went early and had the DI dinner.
Yeah,
Remember, then the next day we did the old morning pageantry.
probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Anyone know? Anyone?
If only there was Google.
Only there's a way to find out. If we had a device that we could just punch in and find out the answer to. All right. We swore in the brig at the detainees all the time. Then maybe they deserve that. Skeleton, high school, want to be a Marine. What should I do to get ready physically? Run, pull-ups, planks, at a minimum. Every day. You can do all 3 of them every day. Every now and then take a break from running. Those are exercises that you can do every single day. No days off. Get after it. Run. Hit the pavement. Work your cardio. DI dinner is on Wednesday, says Doc. So DI dinner Wednesday, family day on Thursday, and then graduation on Friday. It's pretty cool. Parents, the DI dinner is your chance to see the pride and toughness your Marines earned. Come share the moment, feel the energy, and witness the bond built through hard work. Cave diver, sometimes you got to spread a little fertilizer if you're going to make the grass grow. Dave Bryant, were you MSG? Tony, disabled Army Gulf War veteran living in Northwest Florida. God bless you, gunnery. Thank you, brother Tony. God bless you, soldier. Who up? All right. Is it membership time? Uh-oh, Randall, feeling froggy. We got a timeout.
No, it's not yet.
Oh, not yet.
I think at the top of the hour.
Producer says timeout, top of the hour. We got 15 minutes, Randall. All right, Utley says, personally, I think Lance Corporal Cece would wear something other than white. Corporal Cece, maybe sergeant and above, ain't no dang way. At least that's how I see you. Funny, y'all want to know? Y'all want to know the answer? What shirt? Randall said, I don't care. 5 gift memberships. Thank you, Randall. Vic C, Pulse Path, Sub-Zero, J-Rob, all gifted memberships from Randall Knapp. Thank you, Randy. If any of you are on here tonight, please, right now, give a shout out. Snow Leopard, give a shout out to Randall Knapp. Randy, appreciate you, buddy. Those are free memberships, and please consider remaining a member. If you see the icons or the Eagle Globe and Anchors by their name is in green. You see Eagle Globe and Anchor, that depicts on how long they've been a member. And we have a lot of gold ones. That means 6 months or more. Bierman, 0311, hurrah, get after it. Cave diver is Army also. Stay strong. All right. I'm gonna reveal. Have I ever worn something other than a white T-shirt underneath my blue dress uniform? Y'all got to know. There's no way in hell. Never. Never have. Never could. Never even. I've thought about it many times. Never have ever, even as a Lance Corporal, PFC, I never did. I'm one of those guys, man. I'm telling you that I don't follow a lot of rules, but uniform regulations, stuff like that, yes, to a T. I follow them to this day. Even as a retiree, going to a ball, 2 balls I went to, 2 of the 3 I wore a blue dress, or I wore my evening dress, but still requires a white T-shirt underneath the uniform. Never have. Who won? Should have put some money on it. In the poll, I put, you've lost your dang mind. That's what I answered. 33% said no, 28% said yes, and 14% said maybe. That's pretty good. Not even a battalion shirt. Cave diver, I'm telling you, a white issued T-shirt. And I use the word issued lightly because obviously the ones that I had been issued way back are gone, but I still buy the Hanes 3-pack of white T-shirts. I don't buy that $30 dry fit, looking sharp. I would buy it. Here's a little tip for a uniform tip. Even my green T-shirts, I buy one size too small. That's just so they remain tight and up high, so they're not old and raggedy. Once you wash them a couple times, they don't hang down. So I do buy my green T-shirts and my white T-shirts. I buy large instead of extra large, so they fit a little tighter. They stay up high, looking squared away. Out of your dang mind, Carl. Bang. Out of your bang mind. Randall got it correct. Stone and Bob, nope. Was it stamped with your name? Andy Gorski. Great question. They hate to say, no, they were not. Again, over the years, I stopped stamping, but camis are still marked. I didn't mark socks. After once they stopped the CG inspections, and especially once we got the name tapes, that just gave everybody a free ride. You don't have to mark anything anymore unless you're going to NCO school, Corpus Corps, Sergeant's Corps, any of those schools, everything would be marked. But your average Marine uniform right now, I guarantee you stop a Marine on the street unless they just got out of boot camp. Anyone that has re-enlisted, I bet their T-shirts, socks, underwear, none of that's marked. Unless they're going to a PME, Professional Military Educational School. All right, Sebastian, I'm going to hit this one, and we're going to go on to our next topic. Carl, right? Talked about, are you a boot? Yes, we're all boot. None of us were at Ton Tavern in 1775. We're all boot. Term of endearment, embrace it. And in the short, that's what I did. I'll finish it with this. Find that boot who you see, or any boot. Just don't keep that information to yourself. That's why we're all here right now. Just spreading the love and the information and the motivation to each other. What good is this going to do if we're not sharing it with somebody? So boots, take note. Right? And become that salty dog where you're training boots. All right.
Wait, real quick, David Bryan asked, do we still use collar stays?
Do we still use collar stays? Another great question. They still sell them, and we use them in boot camp. That's a boot camp question. Anyone just recently graduate, do you still use collar stays? Collar stays are little metal springs, if you will, just that you put in your long sleeve khaki shirt for the collar. And if you wear them correctly, it keeps the collar down so it doesn't flip up in the wind, makes them look sharp and crisp. I think I did a little while after boot camp, but once you lose one or bend one, or I don't think I've ever bought collar stays. That's a great question. And I certainly don't use them today. Some of my suits could definitely use them, but I just don't. That's a great question. All right. Allie the AI is back. Allie the AI reported in, loving the Marine stories in that sharp studio, set up with the flag and the mic, drop the like. Thank you for dropping the like. Hit the like button, everyone. We're almost at the top of the hour. Hit the like button. Let's hit 100 before we close out. What was that question I was going to answer before we moved on to the next topic? I don't remember now.
Was it in your notes or was it in the...
It was in the chat. I was going to hit it before I moved on. Oh, someone asked, was it the one that asked what he needs to do to get ready physically? No, I answered that one. All right. William, y'all enjoy the rest of your night. You too, William, brother. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button before you pop out, before you pop smoke. All right, cheers. Look at Stoner Bob is the same size as the day he graduated boot camp. Brandon, I've used collar stays after boot camp. I think I did for a little while again. Collar stays. Oh, that's what it was. Sebastian, thank you. Can you talk about the importance of becoming a corporal of Marines? Yes. Personally, I think it was the hardest transition from Lance Corporal to Corporal, from E3 and below, from non-rate to the NCO Corps. I still to this day believe it was the hardest transition. And we were talking about it a little earlier, that would be a good opportunity to move a corporal when he gets promoted to corporal, move to another platoon. Maybe not another unit altogether. It's logistically can't work. Too many Marines get promoted too quickly, or Marines get promoted quickly. That wouldn't be feasible to move every single one of them, but at least a different squad, a different platoon if possible. But that transition was definitely tough, from Lance Corporal to the Corporal to the NCO world. This is different. And I'll tell you a little story. I heard some Marines running the other morning. It was amazing. But it's a hard transition because you have to go from being best friends with a majority of your platoon. In a platoon of 36, at least 25 are Lance Corporal and below, 30 and below, a couple NCOs, right? A couple Corporal, fire team leaders, maybe squad leaders. So you're in the majority. You're in the general population of this platoon. You're all tight. You're all buddies. You live in the non-rate section of the barracks. Some of you may have a corporal as a roommate by chance. NCOs live together or live by themselves. So you're in that gen pop. It's like being an inmate and then all of a sudden you're a guard. So now, one morning on the first of the month, you get promoted to corporal. You're instantly given a ton of responsibility. You're no longer CC to your boys. You're Corporal CC. Right? You're no longer Buckethead, a nickname that you call you on the football field. You're Corporal CC. You will be treated with respect by all your buddies. You just have all this time together with. You did something right. You got promoted. You're now senior to them, and you're in charge of them. You're their leader. So not only is that transition difficult because now when you got to give them orders, right? You got to hold yourself accountable. Come here, I need 2 Lance Corporals for a police call, especially when you're giving a hard duty or trying to give them something that they just don't want to do. They're going to remind you, bro, you don't remember last night we got drunk together and I helped you out? We're boys. Pick somebody else. Come on, the little behind the thing, little wink, wink. Pick it to what's his name? Remember, we don't like him. All that's gone. You're 100% professional. You're held to a higher standard. The sergeants are now going to be on you even more. You're representing the NCO Corps, which is the backbone of the Corps. You know that. So start early. When you know you're coming up to the cutting score, you know it's a possibility you're going to be an NCO before some of your peers. Start not distancing yourself, but start taking on that role and responsibility. They say you should be practicing to be 2 ranks above your own rank already. So start that. Start the professionalism. Get with the corporals, the sergeants, get with the NCO Corps, emulate them. Find the good ones. Try to be just like them, even while still being a Lance Corporal. Still take that role when you're a senior Lance Corporal. Take on those NCO roles. Tough transition. Good luck to you. Told a story numerous times. My first time field operation as a corporal, my sergeant, platoon sergeant tells me, we're packed up, ready to go. We're all on trucks. Platoon sergeant says, hey, get some bodies off the truck. Police call before we leave. It was raining. It was late. It was dark. We were hungry, wet, miserable. We're all tucked into 7 tons. The flaps were down. It was finally getting some warmth in there. He wants me to get some Marines off the back of that truck to get out and police call. Whoa, you talk about, I was scared. Ain't nobody going to listen to me right now. And I did just that. Hey, give me 2 bodies off the truck to come help police call. Ain't no move. Heard a couple FUs. I'm a corporal. They're Lance Corporals. It should have been you 2 off the truck right now. And they would have for any other corporal. But I was a Lance Corporal yesterday. So it was hard. They didn't do it. It took the platoon sergeant to get involved. Because I even lifted a flap up, poked my head, and I said, come on, buddy, I need you to, I was trying to reason with them. I wasn't taking charge. I wasn't being a corporal. Get off the truck now. Shouldn't have to come to that either, but I didn't have that authority as a corporal yet. So it's tough. All right, enough of that. Good question, though. And it's good that you're thinking about it now. All right, almost at the top of the hour.
Did you see Doc said his son's having that issue? And Keenan Lindsay's here.
Keenan Lindsay's here. What's up, Keenan? Jarhead, 1775's here. Becoming a new NCO is the hardest part of a young Marine's career. Amen. I'm telling you. What did you say?
About Doc?
Yes.
Doc said his son's having a tough time going from one school to corporal for those
Doc,
reasons.
I'm telling you, share that story with him. He just, and I don't know any other way to do it. I know now, looking back now, that's what I would have done. I would have said, and here's what the platoon sergeant did. He got the whole platoon off the truck, all of them. Everybody paid for that. So it's a learning lesson for all of us, right? You just got to do it. And it starts with telling your boys, hey, look, got it. We're boys. We did all these things together. I'm an NCO now. I'll treat you with respect. I need you to call me Corporal Cece. Because in public, they'll do it. But when you're in the barracks, you're, boy, hey, Cece, and you hear it, and it hurts, but you don't want it. You don't have the courage to say, bro, Lance Corporal, I'm Corporal Cece now. So it takes it takes courage, takes that moral courage. Tell them get after it. All right. You ready for me? One more. Avid. Hey, man, I'm getting ready to go into the Navy. It's not too late. You can go in the Marines. Just kidding. I have to get my schooling straightened out, and I don't think that I'm fit enough to go right now. What should I do? I'm worried about boot camp. I've never been to Navy boot camp, but it's not the Marine Corps boot camp. It's not Marine Corps boot camp, nor is it a PT academy. I don't know what kind of shape you're in, but get physically fit and mentally strong before any boot camp, says Stoner Bob. So get in shape, hit the pavement. If you got time and you know you're lacking somewhere, get after it. Navy boot camp is just not that physically demanding. So I think you'll be all right. Get after it. All right. Top of the hour. Roll call. It's roll call time. Carl Green, does he, what's that word? Agree? Not agree. All right, roll call.
Wait,
Ray.
real quick, before it goes away, did you see what Keenan said?
Keenan, Lindsay. Just got back last month from 3 months of an executive protection training. Nice. Did my first detail Fortune 500 client today. Where'd it go? If you could please pray for me to be a good protector. Amen. Keenan Lindsay, 1,000%. Prayers up, brother. Good on you. Something I've always wanted to do too. I want to hear more about it. Protecting a Fortune 500 client today. Big time. Good on you. Congratulations. I want to hear more about it. See, look at all glory to God. Being in the Navy, I can tell you that Navy boot camp is easy. It's honestly very soft. Again, I have a feeling you'll be all right. All right, no more. Carl Green says, present. Am I okay to do the roll call now? Carl Green, I was getting his approval first. Roll call. Ray from Queens. Ray, everyone, just so everyone knows, I think I've said it before, he works on the days we do live, so he watches the next day. Thanks for watching, Ray. Appreciate you, brother. Ray from Queens.
Oh,
What?
you just went up for a second.
Chef Bob's prayers. 5x5, says Doc. Carl Green is here. Doc Holliday's here. David Bryant. Lay Cookie's here. Randy and Ellie are here. Anderson Ho, where you at? Menachem. Has Menachem come yet? Ed Creedon. Carrie Ann Marie Potts. She's UA again. Jordan Hammond. Sundays. I think there are more Sundays. Heavy J. Bryce Wyborg. Richard Brivet. I said it right. Wyborg. Richard Bridges. Utley. Matthew Askren. Chicken has risen. Michael's Drones. Zombie Blood. What's up, Zombie Blood? Cave Diver. Hot Rod. Yes, I'm going to say it. Hello. Where's Gunny Rod at? Jared, you know Jared's in the house. JTB, John McJunkin and crew. Again, he doesn't get notifications. I'm positive we'll see him on Sunday. Gunny East is here. Old Jyrene is here. Mark Hankins. Have we seen Mark? I'm still looking. USMC vet, Keenan Lindsay's here. Eric S., Eric Green. Sergeant Stacking, Jay Dilly. Zing Ping. Hope you're feeling better, Zing Ping. Prayers to you and your family, Z Ping. And I won't share his business until he's on here and if he'd like to share, but you're in our prayers, Z Ping. Bob is here. Bob Network, 420 Network. Young Ma, J Dub, where you at, Kirby dude? Big Red, Randy Hodder, Joshua Payne, Oversized Detour, Salty Saxy, WM, Dr. Gimpy. Allie the AI says she's present. Got it. Awesome. And I'm telling you, the community is getting bigger and bigger every day. We appreciate every single one of you. We don't leave anybody out purposely, but good on all y'all for being here. We appreciate you. Anthony says, Navy boot camp is not as physically demanding as Marines. Consists of firefighting, damage control, swimming, gas mask, training. Got to imagine there's a lot of swimming. If anything, they should be doing a lot of swimming. In the Navy, for crying out loud, right? You're on water majority of your career, so you should be able to swim, climb the cargo nets, all the stuff that the helo dunker. I think you should be involved in all that. But damage control, that's like the on the flight deck, right? Being able to some kind of damage control the damage that could happen to the ship. Don't get me wrong, the Navy busts their tails on ship, but boot camp is just not as physically demanding as the Marines. None of the services are. Coast Guard is the closest. Okay, I don't see who did that. Carl Green. I missed the whole 10 gift memberships. Thank you, Carl. Look at these guys. Appreciate you, Carl. Woody. Arch Ducks, Spooky Blaze, DE, Rip. Any of you on here, Chevy Man, any of you on here right now, give a shout out to Carl Green. Free memberships, gift memberships. It's a cup of coffee. Become a member. You see your name changes. You can use the special emojis that the producer just recently made. Somebody pop a couple up there so they can see what they look like. Be a member. We pre-flight right now before the lives. Pretty entertaining sometimes. Pretty chaotic sometimes, but appreciate you. Carl Green and Randall Knapp, both gifted memberships. Awesome. All right, looking from the producer. Woo. Thank you very much. Goats. These guys are goats. All right, next topic. Carl, I'm on it. Was DI duty hard? And someone had asked that right as we were closing out on Sunday, and I did answer it quickly, and I still stand by my answer. The hardest part of being a drone instructor is having patience, but I try to explain it a little more in the short. And frankly, a lot more people watch the shorts than on the live. So I wanted to share it with the Gen Pop on the shorts. DI duty is difficult. It really is. And some people reminded me in the comments of other difficulties. I forgot about the constant, what word did he use? You're always being watched. The scrutiny of being a drone instructor. When you're always being watched, not that you're doing any shady, just are you doing things to make Marines, basically train Marines. So your performance is always under scrutiny by a whole bunch of people. Everyone in your chain of command. You're a young sergeant, staff sergeant, sometimes a gunnery sergeant, but it's extremely demanding. And here's what they want. They want you to graduate 100% of your platoon. I've seen it done once, and I'm sure many times I don't pay attention to it anymore, but while I was a drone instructor, it happened one time. And it really wasn't even a pure 100%. He received 89 at pickup day, and he graduated 89. Couple drops, couple pickups, but it was 100% graduation. So it's difficult. And here's why. Recruits get dropped for all kinds of reasons. Failure to adapt, right? The medical is the biggest one. Medical reasons. They injure themselves, they get dropped back. So you just lost that recruit. He doesn't count towards your graduation rate. 80% is probably pretty good. 85, I don't know what a good percentage is, but you're going to lose, you're going to gain in those 3 months. So someone that got dropped in first phase can rejoin you back in. If they got dropped on T14, when they're healed, they're going to go back to whoever's on T14. Here you go. This guy came 2 months ago, but he broke his ankle and now he's back. He's yours. He doesn't count towards your original 100% graduation. And frankly, nobody likes an add-on. First and second phase, not a big deal, but third phase, because your platoon is gelled. I got a kid that's been on the depot 6 months. Now it kind of disrupts things. At the same time, never hold a kid back from graduating as soon as he possibly can. So is DI duty hard? Yes, for all those reasons, the responsibility, the pressure that's put on you, those are difficult. That's not the hardest part, though. The sore feet, hard, but you get used to it. The constant headaches, hard, but you get used to it, right? You learn how to deal with it. I remember there was times as a drill instructor, I would walk around with the just look on my face and putting pressure. The only way to relieve the pressure on my head was to put more pressure on it. So I'd walk from one place to the other to go pick up recruits and have to yell to relieve that. That's the kind of pain that they're dealing with. Feet tore up, black and blue, by our core frames, a size or about a size and a half too big so you can wear more socks. You're flying in them core frames, right? Up and down for the all first phase, 30 days straight. Sweating through uniforms in the summer, right? You're changing 3 or 4 times. All those things make it hard. You get sick, you get the recruit crud. You remember that? So now you put 89 nasty recruits from all different walks of life, different hygiene practices, put them in one barracks, one open squad bay. You're breathing that stuff in. The drill instructors get sick often. You can try to prepare. You can take wellness before it starts. You can be ready, all the medication in the world. Your chances are you're going to get sick. Nothing to do. It doesn't mean you have a weak immune system. You're just around that much crud from the recruits. You're going to lose your voice, right? That sucks, and that's hard. That makes it hard just to communicate. Now you're trying to march a platoon. They can't hear you because you've lost your voice on day 2, right? It doesn't come back to about day 7 or 8. You can finally start yet. So that's hard. All those things make it hard. The hours. As a new hat, you got to be there before lights come on. And you're also there after lights go out. That's a long day, man. That's just long. Being on your feet, moving. You can't sit. You can't fall asleep in the chow hall, right? You can't take those naps. You get naps in when the recruits are all in the class. First aid class. Up on the screen, another drill instructor takes over. All the DIs go to the back row, crash out. And you can fall asleep this fast. And then all of a sudden you hear a recruit, boom, you're up. Right, recruit has to make a head call. He's coughing too loud. There's something's going on. You always got to be on watch. One hat has to stay awake in case the recruits come around to wake everyone up. The recruits don't see you sleeping. And you're preparing for the next event, right? You march into the classroom. 2 hats march you there. 1 hat takes off to get ready for the next event. If he flies back to the duty hut, flies back to the house, he might have about 3 or 4 minutes to take a cat nap, right? You prepare everything. You get, okay, we're going from here, going to the confidence course. Everything's ready outside. I'm ready to receive the recruits. You know, class is over in 12 minutes. You got 10 minutes to take a nap. Boom. Out. Get up, take a drink, all over again. You now take them to the confidence course. That had him in the class was watching them. Now he sits in the duty hut for a minute. Boom. Takes it. I'm telling you, it's sleep deprivation at its finest for at least the first year. Right? You get it. That's not the hardest part. The hardest part is being patient. Being patient when you're teaching a drill movement, when you're teaching prep, when you're teaching them how to wear their uniform, because you know what they're capable of. And you just graduated 89 Marines, right, who did 13 weeks of training. Now they're Marines. Now you got them first phasers, stop mob. They're crying. They're unsure. They're in culture shock. They don't know what to do. They don't know their left from right. They can't even spin, none of it. So patiently working that out was the hardest thing for me. But great comments. Look who's here, Casal. Partially hard with a good senior. Casal was one of my hats when I was a senior. Good to see you, Casal. You know, I tell the story about you all the time. When, as your senior, every now and then, seniors try to take as much of the load off of the green belts as a good senior does. And I tried to. I don't know if I did enough or not, but I would try to. And at times I'd bring them cold sodas. You don't know what a cold soda would do for your motivation as a drill instructor in the summer. You're sweating, you're up and down, your throat is killing you. You drank the honey and the lemon and all that. But a cold soda. Hey, come here, drill instructor, have a seat. Drink this nice cold Coca-Cola. Little plug for Coke. Casal used to put his on the windowsill to make it room temperature because that's better for you. Casal, I'll never forget that. Good on you. That was a great hat. All right. Zombie Blood, do you have insomnia because of DI duty? LOL. Not really that funny because I still get up early to this day. I try to sleep in every now and then. But I'm still on DI duty time. Look at Ruff. Era. Love to call you sometime soon. Much love. Always praying for you and the family. Back at you, Ruff. Definitely. Give me a call. Shoot me a text first and give me a call. I would love to hear how everything's going. Say, give your family a nice big era as well. Good to see you on here. Thanks for being here. Old Gyrene's checking out. Good night, SFMFers. God bless you, old Gyrene. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for your motivation, your knowledge, your input, your support. Have a good night, brother. God bless you. All right. Mike, 1345 is here. Casal. Casal with money. You're interesting. Had a great time with you in that cycle. What was our platoon number? The cycle we did together. All right. Carl Green. Second topic. Check. Third topic. The old 782 gear. Deuce gear. War gear. Kit. What do they call it nowadays? Where you at, guns? What do they call your issue? The stuff you get issued at SIF. And do they even still call it SIF? Consolidated Issue Facility. It's where you get all your war gear. Flak, helmet, deuce gear, poncho liner, tent, sleeping bag. All the stuff you need to go fight, right? I'm sure it's still called SIF. I'm guessing it is. Ugly. I have insomnia. I can't sleep when all I do is toss and turn in. All that shrapnel and missing limb doesn't help. Bro, you know what I mean? And here's my issue. I talked about it a little bit. The VA asked me, one of the questions is always, do you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep throughout the night? That's one question. Yes and no. I have no problem falling asleep. I have a problem staying asleep. So again, those questions, but I hear you, brother. Hang tough. Stoner Bob still gets up early. Man, cooks get up early to feed all you ungrateful heathens. So yes, appreciate Stoner Bob and every single cook I've ever come across with. Love him. Keenan says, Sergeant Major Tackett, the Marine from Kilo, who was kicked out right before NAWA 2010, was killed in Ukraine. Sergeant Major Tackett, do we know that? Tackett. Was he one of the ones that went over there? Did he go as a civilian? Was he one of those guys? Yeah. Huh. Can you like him and his wife and baby daughter lift them up in prayers? Yeah, absolutely. He was a lance corporal. Yeah. So yeah, he's the one that. I thought you were saying Sergeant Major Tackett. You're like, oh, Sergeant Major Tackett, the Marine who was kicked out right before NAWA, was killed in Ukraine. So Tackett, Lance Corporal Tackett. Yes. Oh my gosh. November 30th. Wow. Prayers. Prayers up to his family. Oh my God, horrible. Wow, we're gonna have to look that up. Check out the whole story. Yeah, kicked out right before we went to Naval. Man. Thanks, Keenan, for sharing that, brother. Prayers up. If you talk to the family, please send our prayers. Oh, man. All right. I see the E-Tool comment. So it's 782 gear. That's the topic we're on right now. The question was, not sure why that came to mind, but I was thinking, should gear be issued one time? All that gear, and it's a lot, right? When you go to SIF, you're leaving with a couple sandbags, sea bags, and even a laundry bag full of stuff because they give you a lot of stuff. You don't always use all of it, but it's an issue off a gear list that you may need, right? You use probably 90% of it. Some you don't. Either way, you get it all issued to you. And then when you leave that duty station, you turn it all back in. That becomes the issue of SIF, turning your gear in. It's always a headache. Something's going to be dirty, not clean enough for SIF's inspection. We talked about that guy who started a business. He'll clean your SIF gear for you. When you go, he guarantees you'll be able to turn it in. Great, but it's costing Marines money. Kind of have mixed feelings about it, but that's what a headache SIF is, to turn your gear in. So what if we issued it once and you kept it until you EAS'd for good? You end of active service, you're done, whether you did 4 years, 10 years, 30 years. At the end of those 30 years, here's my thanks for letting me use this gear. Here it is all back. Would that work? Or would it be a mess? I even included weapon as well. Weapon, there's way too many variables to give a private or a PFC an M4 and say, we'll get this back from you in 10 or 12 years. That I don't see ever happening. But the rest of the gear, is that possible? And read the comments. Watch the short if you could, and then read some of the comments. A lot of logistical headaches you can imagine. And when you PCS to another duty station, upon checkout, when you got your checkout sheet, you're still going to check out with SIF, but that's going to be an inventory, right? So when you leave your old duty station, you're going to have everything that you had issued to you when you got there. They might replace something. You might have to get something surveyed, right? If something's ripped, you get a new one. But you don't leave that duty station until you're 100%. So what that does for the gaining unit, and I put in the short, how great would that be if you received a Marine today? Congratulations, welcome to 2-5. Yep, I'm your first sergeant. I signed your check-in sheet. You checked in with admin, you're good to go. You don't have to go anywhere else. And pack your stuff, by the way, because we're going to the field tomorrow. That's it. There's no that week of check-in where you got to go all these places and SIF and getting your gear and doing the C-bag drag. You PCS with it. One of the comments was Lake Cook even said, man, that's a tough move for a single Marine, a corporal going from one duty station, East Coast to West Coast, and he's got to carry all that gear with him. Because it's nice, man, when you're getting your short timer, right? You have orders or even EAS, turning in that SIF gear, having them sign your checkout sheet. That's when you celebrate. I checked out a SIF. No more gear. You don't have to worry about any of it. Then you go to your new duty station, same thing. You start your check-in process. You go to DEERS and HR, all these weird places, the library that you'll never visit places, but you check in all those places and SIF and get all your gear. Now you got brand new gear. Sometimes it is brand new. So now you're breaking in a new Alice pack, showing my age, a new ILBY, your new SAPI plates and SAPI plate care. All that stuff is new. Another process you got to do every time you arrive at a duty station, every time you leave a duty station. So why not give them all their gear? Would that work? No worries, Lindsay. Appreciate you sharing, brother. So here we go. Let me read some of these comments. I had to turn in my gear into supply every time I went TAD or changed duty station. Even going TAD, that's a pain in the butt because you're still in that same duty station. You're just going TAD for a couple months and coming back. That would be a bummer. Household effects. I had to move my household each time I was reassigned, lived off base in Okinawa. Married folks, it's not that as big of a deal because TMO moves your stuff. So you just leave that stuff in your garage, wherever you store it. They pack it up and they move it for you, right? Again, the sticking point's going to be making 100%, making the accountability piece before you leave that duty station. And what could start happening also is you're getting ready to leave, you got a flight date or you got a report date. I'm still missing a poncho liner. Just go. Get it at your new duty station. No, wrong answer. That's the same. SIF would have to be just as adamant about turning your gear in when you turn it in as it would be as accountability. Right? So you're not going anywhere. Get that poncho liner or I'm not signing. Same thing. I'm not signing your checkout sheet. You have all your gear, 100% accountable, then you can go. So again, a little bit of logistics, and it's always going to come down to money, right? Would it cost the Marine Corps money, more money to do it that way or keep it the same? It's interesting. I was thinking about that today. Oh, and here's why. Because I saw these Marines the other day. It was dark. It was one of my early morning PT sessions, dark and cold. And all of a sudden I hear from a distance, yes, Corporal. Yes, Corporal. You don't hear that enough either anymore, but yes, Corporal. And I couldn't see who was who, but as I got closer, they were getting ready for a boots and utes run. And it was cold, and they just had on T-shirts, but they had their flak and helmet. They had their SAPI plate carriers. I don't know if they had SAPI plates in it, but SAPI plate carriers, helmet, rifles, going for a run. It was about probably 05, maybe 4:45. Corporal, taking the squad for a run. Pure motivation. It's free. I was like, man, I'm glad I'm not those guys. And I'm trying to, I don't know what unit, it wasn't an infantry unit around, so it wasn't infantry. But straight motivation. Had all their gear. Does that happen often? This was a Monday morning. It was good. All right. Random NASA, checking out, needing signatures so you can catch your flight, but they're busy. So what do? I demanded someone else sign my card. Not my issue. Green weenie stuff. That's horrible too. When you're trying to check out and you have to find the leave clerk and he's the only one and he's on bed rest because he just had his wisdom teeth pulled, so nobody can sign your checkout sheet. I may have signed a couple different spots on my own checkout sheet before. Check-in sheet. What are they doing over there?
Oh, no, they're building a house.
When you fly around on leave, you can check out the Air Force food, dining facility. That's where Air Force eats in restaurants. We know that. Thinking of gear, says Jarhead, 1775. Thinking of gear, I remember being issued a new flak jacket in the early 2000s. The one with the ripcord, and everyone was pulling the cord out on deployment. Yes. Great invention, great addition to the SAPI plate carrier. Had that quick release. Boom, and that was obviously for combat. You get blown up. Quick way to take off a SAPI plate carrier because as you know, you put them over your head, Velcro, all kinds of stuff. It's not a quick process to put it on and get it fitting just right. But when you needed to take it off in a hurry, they had a quick release. So yes, Marines being Marines, they would hit each other's quick release, boom, whole kit drop. Pretty funny. If it doesn't happen to you, it's funny. Everyone was pulling each other's. Sounds like something Marines would do. Had to buy my own poncho liner because mate borrowed mine, never got it back. Sniff and paguk all the time. But that's one thing I wouldn't loan to anybody, my poncho liner. No way. That baby's not mine. Keenan, taking off. Good night, chat. Semper Fi, Sergeant Major, and Mrs. Cece. Love y'all. 3-3 family, America's Battalion. Keenan, take care, brother. Good seeing you. Thanks for being here. And again, bad news, but thanks for sharing. Appreciate that. And prayers up. If you talk to the family, please let them know that the SFMFers are keeping them in our prayers. Appreciate you. 04 wake up for my second shift on the Fortune 500 client. Always alert, brother. Alert. Stay alert, stay alive. Head of battalion commander used to always tell us that in the engineer community. Stay alert. And we'd all say, stay alive. Head on a swivel, right? Don't complete that triangle. All those things that I tell my own kids, right? Head on swivel, back to the door, know where the X's are. Check out the big dudes, right? First, as soon as I walk into Costco, I find the biggest dude in there. Make sure I know where he is at all times, or she, depends on where you are. Good on you. Congratulations, Keenan. Keep up the good work, brother. Caprello's here. Air Force chow. Sherry's is less. What does that mean? Air Force I'm telling you, they do a lot of things right, but it is a corporation more than it is the military. But good on them, right? They chose that life. It's a shock to me from Navy to Air Force chow hall. Liquor bottles in the refrigerator in the Air Force. I didn't know that. I know they're spoiled, but I didn't know they had liquor bottles. Really, liquor bottles? Oh, dang, that must have been a blast in the Air Force. They didn't have a quick release when I got boomed. Oh, man, that would have been good timing for that. Army dude tried to cut my plate carrier, but couldn't, so I sat up and they pulled it off. I remember them trying to cut through. Didn't work. That must have been painful to be moving you around like that when you're obviously injured. Man. They had liquor bottles in your room because they don't or they do call it a dorm. They don't call it barracks. It's a dorm, a dormitory. That is crazy. That's the Air Force, though. Good on them. Air Force Lodge in Japan.
Thank you.
I don't think so. Oh, it's Wednesday. Was that Kimi? Are they going church? Kimi? Kimi Cocoa Puffs? They just went out in church tonight, Wednesday night. Youth church service on Wednesday night. So awesome. So glad they go.
So glad they go.
Well,
Good riddance.
yeah, not that they're leaving us alone, but I'm glad they participate in that. All right. Look at Stoner Bob, since 1985. Good on you, brother. Randall Knapp, I had a lieutenant colonel who wanted us to get ham radio license. I did learn Morse code. Loved it. Wow, you learned Morse code. That's cool. That's another language. Morse code, and I always wanted to learn sign language. I only know a couple. I can't do them on here. Producer gives it to me all the time. She tells me I'm number one. There you go, Utley. That'll do the trick. Couple shots of morphine, you don't feel nothing. Zombie blood, no alcohol since 2016. Anthony Reed doesn't drink anymore. Damn, we definitely don't drink like we used to once a month, I would say. Anytime the VA asked me those same appointments, where I ask the same standard questions. How much alcohol do you have over a month period? How much a day? When you have that drink of alcohol, how many beers is it? Drink every now and then. Special occasions with people. Casal, D.I. Sergeant Jordan was Jay. Monroe was outstanding guy. Monroe was the guy. I remember. Jordan was a J. Jordan was intense as well. D.I. Sergeant Jordan. Drill Instructor Sergeant Jordan. Good times, Casal. Good times.
You guys have little reunions for that?
We need to have little reunions for that. They do. I just don't keep up with it. I see that green box. I can see that that's green. Don't even try it. Carl Green, 10 more memberships. Gifted. Very generous, Carl Green. Thank you very much. Look at all these gifted membership. Oh, look at this guy. Pissed Off American. I feel you. Maverick. Dragon Slayer. Ryan. Gifted from Carl Green. Kelly. If you're on here, any of you, Harley, please give a shout out to Carl Green. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate you, brother. Keeping those membership community alive. Somebody put some icons, some emoji on there. Show them what they get. Not only a green name, eagle of an anchor on how long you've been a member, and the use of the new emojis, which are awesome. David Bryant, with all the technology in the Marine Corps now, if the satellites are where to go down, are the Marines still trained old school tactic navigation? Great question, David Bryant. I'm telling you, they still need to teach land nav for old school. For that reason, everyone relies on their Garmin GPS, their watches, all that, their cell phones. No, old school land navigation. I hope they still do. That's a great question. If it all goes down. Olds, remember Sergeant Olds was on that team too. He's a little ball of fire. That was a great team. Matthew Askren, did you see Sergeant Major Rui's podcast that dropped today? I did not. There's those emoji. Look at those emoji, everyone. Members have that option to use those emoji whenever they like. Thank you to the producer for making those. How was the podcast, Matthew? He's been doing a lot out and about. I see that. How's he doing? You know what I'm going to do next? A little sneak preview to a short coming up. Who's your favorite commandant of the Marine Corps, and who's your favorite sergeant major of the Marine Corps? And then we'll talk about later on the live why you selected those Marines that you selected. My Sergeant Major one is easy. Sergeant Major Barrett was by far my favorite Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. A hardcore, maybe because I knew him. Maybe he came to Afghanistan and did foot patrols with us. Commandant, learned some new stuff thanks to David Bryant about General Gray, who I thought was era motivated. He's the one, if you remember, always took his command photos in camis, wore camis wherever he went. He was the Marines' Marine. Right, David Bryant shared something. He gave a speak right before something like kick butt, taking it. He gave that speech that the Secretary of War and the Vice President of the United States did. Gave that same speech 35 years ago. Let's go back to kicking butt and taking names. Need to do a little more research on him. I was brand new to the Corps, right? He was commandant a year after I got in. Full Metal Jacket just came out, right? Era was happening. Full Metal Jacket came out 2 months before I joined the Marine Corps. I didn't watch it. I didn't know about it yet. I didn't watch it till after boot camp, till after engineer school. And I wondered back then, had I seen it before I went to boot camp, would I still have went? And I'm thinking, yes, absolutely, I would have. The Lensatic Compass Land Nav, stars, right? Use and Train Association. Back to if all technology goes down, can you still navigate your way into or out of a firefight? That's what it needs to. You need to remember that. Rough Cat, get some. Era, keep getting after it, Rough. We'll get on a call here soon, for sure. I'll shoot you a text. Thanks for being here. Zombie Blood, love these emojis. Aren't those cool? Hit the like button like it owes you money, says Stoner Bob. Caprio, can I speak to the Eagle Vision a little bit? I cannot. I don't know what the Eagle Vision is. Is that a new piece of technology that came out in the last 12 years since I retired? Or you're just talking about the vision that Marines have? Menachem is here. I heard the Marines like Sergeant Major Ruiz. I've heard that as well. And we did a poll a long time ago. Who's your favorite? I think we did that poll. Who's your favorite Sergeant Major in the Marine Corps? A lot of Marines put Sergeant Major Ruiz. I think it's because they're active duty Marines and they know him because he's right now. So I guess that question, who's your favorite commandant, who's your favorite Sergeant Major, I guess it's really for the old schools that have been around for a few of them. But Menachem, good to see you. And I've heard that as well. Not sure. It was decent. Man, can you read that? I just missed his. Oh, Sergeant Major Overstreet. Awesome Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Can you read? You're not on comments right now. I missed that, Matthew Askren. If you don't mind, please put that back up. Jay Dilly's here. Krulak. I thought was a good commandant. Full Metal Jacket was so funny. It is funny because we weren't Private Pile or Private Joker or any one of those that he was hazing. Anthony Reed, they had General, man, going fast. Casal. Thank you for the membership. Kelly, that came from one of our motivated members. If you can see back when you first received it, it'll tell you who it's from. We don't have the ability to give memberships. If you could put that back about how the podcast was with Sergeant Major Ruiz. That's what I was looking to read. Combat Medic is here. What's up, Combat Medic? Land Nav was a requirement for combat medics to receive the Expert Field Medical Badge. Good. Yeah, Land Nav, I'm telling you, you can't do it enough without technology. You need it and do it more. Utley, General Hagee, and Sergeant Major Estrada. I like Sergeant Major Estrada, very professional. Pretty sure that's why I got to do my rehab in Texas, got promoted by them while laying in the hospital bed. Pretty cool, to be honest. That's very cool. That's awesome. I don't know enough about General Hagee, but I did meet Sergeant Major Estrada a few times. That's when I was a first sergeant major. So I got to see him a few times. Carl Green, Sergeant Major Kellogg was my command sergeant major, Medal of Honor recipient. He's a great sergeant major, but I'm talking specifically sergeant major of the Marine Corps. But yeah, Sergeant Major Kellogg, beast mode. Dave Bryant said, meds are kicking in. Good night. Good night, David Bryant. Stay strong, brother. Hope you're feeling better, which it seems like you are, but get after it. Great talking to you today, by the way, and great to see you on here, as always. All right. Have you met Sergeant Major Black? He motivates the hell out of me. Mike, I haven't. I haven't met him. Seemed good to go. And here's what I'll caveat that. Nothing against any of them. A caveat to that is I think, this is me personally, you know, my political feelings and my tact and what's that? PC, politically correctness. I think a level of politics gets pulled out of you when you reach that level. And so I'm very weary of sergeants major in that position. There's certain stuff. Sergeant Major Black seemed like a era. I was hoping to see less of the political side, the sergeant major of the Marine Corps side. So what I'm seeing with Sergeant Major Ruiz, a lot of the sergeant major of the Marine Corps. I want to see a Sergeant Major Barrett up there. And that's what sold me on Sergeant Major Barrett. He came out to the PBs. He came out to the patrol bases way out in the middle of nowhere and foot patrols with Marines where he said, I'm a rifleman. I'm not the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps right now. I'm going on this patrol route. He went on a 6-hour mobile patrol with us. And he had watch. You know what I mean? It was era stuff. Going to visit Marines is cool, but going to visit Marines and having the passion to do what they're doing, live like they're living, and he didn't have any special treatment. He purposely left the commandant to go, took the jump to visit the Marines on the front line and patrol with them, eat with them, sleep with them. That's the kind of stuff I want the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps to do. Matthew Ashkin said it was decent. He did it with retired Sergeant Major Mark Chabot. I don't know him. Mark does a great job hosting, interviewing. Good. Good to hear. Carl Green gifted Kelly. Awesome. Thanks, Carl. And thanks for shouting them out, Kelly. Appreciate that. Matthew Ashkin, those two were instructors at DI school together. Oh, who done? Ruiz and Chabot. Is that a name that gets pronounced like that? The creator only identified 2 animals. Oh, miss that. Brandon says, Ellie and I would love to say hey, and we welcome you to Boise. We're going to hit you up. We're going to take you up on that offer, Randall. We can't wait. Can't wait to meet you in person and Ellie. Definitely. So Major Overstreet was when I was at Quantico, Carl Green. Met him a few times, Overstreet, after the Corps too, when he does stuff with Marine Corps League. Is he a Marine Corps Leaguer or somewhere in that community? He came out to Hawaii a couple of times, spoke. We did Pearl Harbor Remembrance. We did a few things with Sergeant Major Overstreet. Good dude. Country boy, came in his cowboy hat and boots and blue jeans. That's cool. They asked if I need anything. Said I'd like to do my rehab in Texas. Next day, Staff Sergeant was stationed at the hospital to take care of my families and such. Told me I was going to BAMC, Texas. Awesome. That is cool. McMichael was before. Sergeant Major McMichael was good. Yeah, we've had some good Sergeants Major of the Marine Corps. I think the more senior I got, the more aware of their billets and their position. Obviously, when I became a sergeant major, now I saw more of the bigger picture. So again, I wouldn't just want more for them. They have the influence in the entire enlisted force, the senior enlisted advisor to the commandant of the Marine Corps. What are you doing for the Marines, the enlisted Marines? I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to, every day, you got one job. Take care of the enlisted community, or move on. You know, I mean, that's what I expect of any sergeant major in any organization, any unit. Do everything you possibly can. And if you're being held down, if someone's got their thumb on you, not letting you do those things, go. One of you's got to go. Don't bend the knee. Don't give in to the, oh, well, we're in this position. Okay, we'll be together. No. Fight, man. That's all I want as a sergeant major, to fight for the Marines, for the good of the Corps. All right. Met him at Gitmo. JPJ Hill, gentleman and a great Marine. He was the CMC. LBJ shook my hand when I was 5 years old. Lyndon B. Johnson, Stoner Bomb. Clearly I was destined for greatness. That's my excuse. Kelly. Hey, Kelly, the OG? Why is it just Kelly now? My son is almost halfway through boot camp. What are they learning at this point? Halfway through, so second phase, field. They're in the field. They're doing rifle training, snapping in barrel. They're learning how to fire the M4. What's after the M4? Service rifle. Find out how to fire it, how to qualify with it, to get their shooting badges, learning how to live in the field, how to hygiene in the field, how to look for the enemy, how to close with and locate and destroy the enemy by fire and maneuver. They're going to the gas chamber. Pretty tough. Second phase is pretty tough. But it's also motivating. It's Marine stuff. Being back on MCRD is spit and polish, especially when they come back. The second phase is the URAH part of boot camp. Love second phase. Yeah, as a drill instructor, I loved it. There it is, Ali the AI. Let's get those likes up. Y'all better be double tapping the screen like your life depends on it.
There's a question about the first enlistment.
No.
Nick, can I become a drill
Oh.
instructor on my first enlistment?
Nikolai, can I become a drill instructor on my first enlistment? Yes, you can. You have to be a sergeant or a senior corporal. When you finish DI school, you'll be promoted. You get 100 points towards your cutting score. You will be a sergeant when you hit DI duty. No more corporals as drill instructors anymore, but you can go to DI school as a corporal. I think we firmed that up in one. So can I become a drill instructor in my first enlistment? Yes. Become a sergeant in your first enlistment. That's getting after it. Day one. Kicking butt, taking names, guide in boot camp, graduate boot camp at Lance Corporal. You're already halfway there. Meritorious promoted to corporal. Start putting in for DI duty. Learn everything you can. The quick and easy answer, can you become a DI your first enlistment? Yes. Very difficult, but it is possible. Or shortly after you re-enlist. Because here's the thing, you're going to have 3 years on your contract when you go to DI duty because it's a 3-year tour. So you can become one with a re-enlistment. Right? Give it the career planner. That's a career planner question. That he can tell you all the ins and outs of it, but yes, you can. It's what I wanted to do. I didn't make sergeant that quick, and it took me a while. It was in 6 years before I became a drone instructor. All right, not sure where my OG went. Yeah, Kelly, the OG. It just says Kelly now. Yes, his knee healed and he's back at it, thankfully. Amen. Good for him. A little extra time on the depot, but he's getting after it. The reality of it all. What's your favorite beer? Man, let me buy you one. Here's what we can do. Instead of a beer, buy membership, right? They call it buy a coffee.
That's different.
Oh,
That's a different, that's not like a Patreon.
oh. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Cold beer is my favorite.
But that's 4 months. If you were to buy your beer, it's like 4 months of membership.
Oh,
It's only $1.99.
$1.99. Membership is $1.99. I'm getting schooled over here right now. All right. Utley, while I was at BAMC, I met Chuck Norris. You know he can unscramble eggs? He came to talk to the wounded warriors. He put his arm around me for a picture, and my leg tried to grow back. Awesome. Man, how cool is that? Chuck Norris. Beast mode. Man. Randall Knapp. Lyndon B. Johnson was POTUS when I was born. Cheers. Second phase going up north. Jay Dilly. God's country, we used to call it as drone instructors. Less supervision up north. So that's when Milton Bradley came out. Some games were being played. All right. Getting down to the wire. Passion versus desire is next. After I hit this question, Casey Haskins is here, checking in before. Sergeant Major, God bless you and your family. You'll be in my prayers. Thanks, Casey. You as well. I just thoughts on USMC reserves. We do talk about that quite a bit. We have in the past. Good night, Casey. Thanks for being here. Casal, maturity helps a lot to be a drill instructor. Amen. I grew up a lot, got regreened, had the bejesus scared out of me again. Grew up. I completely grew up on the depot. Kelly OG says, after boot camp, will he still be able to come home for 10 days? Mandatory. That 10 days of leave is mandatory. He will come home for 10 days. Check earlier in the chat, Doc was telling us DI dinners Wednesday, family days on Thursday, and then graduate on Friday. Soon as congratulations, Marines, they throw the cover in there. They don't throw the covers. Soon as they're released, he's yours. 10 days. So plan a great 10 days with them. Really happy for you. Rounding that, will corporals ever be allowed to become DIs again? As corporal, maybe, depends on the war we'll have to fight and turnabout time for recruits. I don't think it'll ever happen again. Randall, if somebody asked that, I don't think there's a need for it now, and I think the need is more, Casal just said it, the maturity. The maturity factor needs to be there. I think when there was corporals on the depots, that's when boot camp was 8 weeks, trying to push people through for Vietnam, right? Trying to get them into training a whole lot quicker. But I don't think it should, as much as I wanted to be a DI as a corporal, I think sergeant is good. Even the sergeant nowadays looks so young, but I think sergeant is good. $1.99 per membership. Sergeant Major Green was a good Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Took a pic with him in Charlotte, North Carolina during Marine Fleet Week here. I met Sergeant Major Green as well on K-Bay after I retired. Got a photo with him and the Commandant. He seemed like a good dude as well.
Did you finish all the points? Did you cover them all?
No, last one. Passion versus desire. Cover it. Carl Green, where you at? 10 minutes to LZ. There, look it. Popped up. All right, here we go. Last topic, passion versus desire. And a couple different reasons. Talking with the instructors, Army instructors at the Army Navy Academy. Man, you can just feel the passion talking to those guys. It's set up a little different. They have instructors they teach during the day. they're the educators, and then at night they have TAC officers who take care of the cadets in the barracks, right? They do the BDR in the evening. So two different groups of leaders. And I know a couple of them from past services, past JROTC, just whatever. We know we run across them, but as a whole, the Army and Navy Academy just has that passion. You can see it in the instructors, just talking to them. The conversation is always about the cadets and what they do, what they don't do, how they can be better, the camaraderie that they have, camaraderie of the instructors, right? Both times they're, yeah, I'll talk to you later. We're going to chow right now. They're going to chow as a group. They're coming back as a group. The TAC officers in the evening, they do everything together. They're watching these guys. The rules and regulations are up to date. All right. The last place I worked at, they're 30 years behind the power curve. This school, they're on it. What needs to be now, and it's the difference was, and I don't know if that is a saying, passion versus desire. Some places, some people, some leaders have a desire to do well, right? They want to do well. They thrust into a leadership position, and I should be doing good. And others have the passion to do well, to do more, to look at an organization and say, this is great. This is a great place to work. I can already see 4 things that I would improve and make it even better. That's passion. That I think it can be learned, it can be taught, it can be felt. The desire is, okay, congratulations, you're now in charge of this entire school, do good. And you want to, but your mindset is somewhere else. This is how we've always done it, right? All those leadership sayings that we've talked about on here that I look up, complacency, all that stuff follows just if you only have the desire. Randall Knapp, if you can put your phrase back up there that you put, I think when we were talking to members, or was it Doc? Somebody, I don't remember who it was, but ideally you want passion and desire. If you got them both, man, you could be unstoppable. But if you only have one, I think the important one would be the passion, because you don't have all the answers. You don't. Nobody does. Not one person has all the answers. God is the only one that has all the answers. So if you have the passion to want to make it better, you have the passion to seek out those who do have the answers that you don't have, and you work together as a team. I'm telling you, the aura around the Army Navy Academy was there, and I felt it because you can tell by the conversations, you can tell by the, just a virtual tour of it, if you will. And they had passion. It's a good school. They're doing well. Overall, the retention is well. People want to go work there. Students want to go to school there. I mean, that's how you know that someone at the top has passion. And it's a military academy. The president doesn't have a military background. He's a businessman. At the end of the day, it is a business. He's a businessman. Perfect setup. His son went to that academy, I don't know, years ago or something. I want to learn more about it. That's the vibe I got from this academy. That's what Bala said he is. He took off, I think, already. Hopefully he's doing homework. But that's the difference. Excuse me. That I think was clearly evident in that environment, that they had passion, and that's so important. I think in a roundabout way I've been talking about it, but I never put it in that sense, passion versus desire. You can have a desire to do well. You have a desire, if you're a cadet in that academy, you have a desire to do well, and you'll do well and you'll graduate. But if you have the passion to do well, you're going to do great. And you're going to do great things when you leave there. The instructors at that school, the commandant of cadets at that school has the passion to make it everything it should be for those cadets. And it's evident. It's great. It was Doc's post, Randall. Thank you. And that's pretty much what Doc said, having both. Man, and I asked her to screenshot it. I hope she did. Because that was great the way Doc articulated passion drives you, desire. I don't remember exactly how it went. All right. Ben Rees. Hey, Sergeant Major, finishing up grass week and headed to the range for a zeroing day tomorrow. Next rifle qual next week. Any advice to shoot expert? Brass, brother, brass. Have they taught you that? Breathe, relax, aim, stop, squeeze, bullseye. Here's the biggest one. Don't hold your breath. Stop breathing. There's a difference. If someone tells you hold your breath, you're going to take a breath in and hold it. Now you have full lung capacity, and what that does is that increases your heart rate because your heart starts beating because you're holding your breath. Don't hold your breath. Just start wherever you are in that breathing. Once you get everything on point, the front side tip, rear side door, if you're using an ACOG, everything's perfect. Wherever you are in your breath, either inhaling or exhaling, just stop. Boom. Pull the trigger. I've never been a coach, right? I've taught cadets air riflery, which is the same mechanics of anything else, but I swear by brass. I learned it in boot camp. Brass, BRASS, breathe, relax, aim, stop. The stop is stop breathing. Squeeze, slow. Don't pull the trigger. Don't jerk it. Slowly just squeeze it. Bullseye. All right, sand dunes, lay cookie. Excuse me. And good luck at qualifying, by the way. Lay Cookie says, passion will take desire over the top and make you hugely successful at whatever you do. Amen. Another one, please. Another screenshot on that one. Passion will take desire over the top. So again, utilizing them both, but the passion part, man. And I think I'm pretty passionate about some things. And what I'm doing, the job I was doing, everything about when I go to a new unit, new organization, the passion definitely sets you apart from those that just have the desire. And I got a whole bunch of names for those types of leaders. Selfish is the main one. The leader in name only, right? At the last couple people I worked for, they were leader in name only. They got thrust in that position. They had no passion. They were just there because somebody told them to be there, or they're working on something else, right? They had their own MO, own agenda, right? Fill in their pocketbook, whatever it was. They didn't have the passion to do the job that they were directed to do, assigned to do. The passion was missing, and it's clear and evident. You can't hide from that. Ain't no secret. You ain't fooling nobody. If you don't have the passion, go somewhere else. Do everyone a favor. Go somewhere else. Passion drives desire. I like that too. That's good. No coffee before the range. Sand dunes, good one. Lay cookie. Coffee doesn't affect me like most people does. I could drink coffee before I qualified, but I wouldn't because of the caffeine, right? Don't do it. All right, side aim, side picture, side alignment. Jay Dilly, bringing it back. That's it. Everything the coach has been telling you all this time, you just got to put it all together, right? Relax is the biggest one. I was nervous as heck, and you get nervous. So I used to like pre-qual day. Thursday, you pre-qual. If you do well, you can keep that score. Less pressure. I don't know if they still do that now, but they would score you on Thursday, pre-qual, shot expert, you can keep that. You don't have to qual the next day. Save the Marine Corps a ton of money on ammo. Because if you were happy with your Thursday score pre-qual, you keep it. So you still go to the range on Friday to pull butts, but we're saving the Marine Corps money. All right. From the producer, happens way too often. RHIP, sad but true. Rank has its privileges. People abuse that. I lived it for 4 years. People abuse that. Rank has its privileges. No.
He said, Naval Box said, how come my chief got 2 DUIs, had to make chief 3 times? He's at 20 years before my brother. They did not give a darn and gave him DAPA twice right away and let him go for things that weren't his fault.
Yeah. Again, RHIP, it not always fair. People, the good old boy network, it's alive. It's sad when you see it, when you witness it. Again, I just lived it. for 4 years working at this organization that no passion. It was all about hooking your brother up, like literally. It was bad. All right. Randall Knapp. And
Literally hooking your brother
literally hooking your brother up.
and your wife. And your dog.
All your family members. Not for the good of the organization, for the good of your last name. Randall Knapp, nobody cares about you more than a solid Marine leader. The toughness they met out is actually their sacrifice for you. Everything you receive costs them more, but rewards you both. Very well said, Randall. Awesome. Appreciate you, Randy. All right, so many more I want to read right now, but I'm getting it from the boss and the boss, Carl Green, and the producer. We're in overtime. Your call on the wave off. No flybys here. We got to let y'all go. Appreciate every single one of you. Another great show. Actually hit all the topics today.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, producer. I hit the comments. We'll see you on Sunday. God bless all of you. Stay safe, stay aggressive, and we'll see you soon. Semper Fi, my friend. Ever.